Well, it looks like Seduce and Scheme is going to be the central theme of this series called Rap Sh, which is produced by Issa Rae and airs on HBO. Okay? Now, I had to say rap-ish because you can't curse the first 2 minutes on YouTube. You know, so I had to make it clean. So this is going to be my review of the first season, first episode of this series that I think is going to become a smash. Let's get into it, shall we? Hey everyone, it's your girl, Miss Ann Little Cole. I'm coming to you straight out of NYC, Harlem to be exact, on this Friday afternoon. That's not as hot as I thought it would be, but I think this show is going to be hot. Okay, so it's called Rap-ish. Okay, and it stars a young lady named aidaosman, who is a comedian, writer, producer, also an actress. And it also stars Kamillion. Okay, now Kamillion is famous as a rapper, singer, but she's also well known for being on season 3 of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Okay, so the show basically stars aidaosman playing the character of Shawna. Okay, so she basically goes by the name online. I believe her name is Shawna Vision. Okay. Shawna Vision. And Shawna is one of those young ladies who has a job working at the Plymouth Hotel, but she also has a passion for hip hop, and she is a rapper. Okay, so the show opens up with Trick Daddy's one of his iconic songs from Slip and Slide. I didn't really catch the title of it, I'm not gonna lie. But you see these gay men who are black and Latino be like, oh, yes, we in Miami, yes. And then you see this guy who we assume is heterosexual in the beach because he's basically wanting to see a female's titty. So he basically pulls apart the string tied to her bikini top. It was like, I want to see some titties. I want to see some titties. So she basically realizes, oh no, my string is loose. So she basically, tries to handle it. But then the camera skips over to these white women who are preparing for a bridal event. Okay. So at the event, at the hotel, they're like, oh my God, we're going to get turned up. Yes. And then they're about to say something, like, oh, we're about to get, wasted and, we're about to F. But then the bride is like, oh my God, no. I'm only dedicated to one penis. Only going to have one penis. All right. And that's you, my husband. All right. So then they bum rush Shawna while she's on the clock and she have her laptop open, because you're going to find out that Shawna is not just a rapper, but she also constantly uploads on Instagram throughout the day while she's at work. So when she gets bum rushed, there's this gentleman that basically is, like, hey, wasn't you the girl, last year that was basically rapping, during like the whole protest? So she basically is shown rapping about how, I'm wearing a mask, not because I'm dangerous, but because of COVID. Because remember, while a lot of protesting was going on, the backdrop behind all of that was COVID. So that's the main reason why we weren't wearing our masks. We weren't being dangerous to black people. Then she's like, yeah, that's me. He's like, but what you doing here working at the Plymouth? And she's like, well, it pays the bills, So did he say, did you quit rapping? And she's like, no, I didn't quit rapping. I basically am still rapping. So then she shows him another video where she's wearing like this mask. Her face is like covered in like tribal paint halfway. And she's basically doing a rap about, like being a black woman and so forth. And so he's like, oh, was this for like Women's History Month? She's like, no, this is something that I felt like doing. So he's like, okay, I see you on your queen shit and whatnot. And she was like, yeah. And so he was like, see, this is the type of rap that I like, rap, that have a message, women spitting real bars, not that whole like type of disrespectful rap. So he was like, I want my daughters to listen to somebody like you. So she basically was like, oh, so you got a daughter? He was like, no, I don't have one. So then him and his significant other, they leave. And so he's like, what's your Instagram page? She was like, oh, it's @Shawna _ and then cuts. So then what happens after that, we see this guy basically comes in, and his name is Maurice. And Maurice Antoine is his full name, and he's Haitian American, okay? So they all are very cool. He's a fellow hotel concierge like Shawna. So basically, he really is like a ladies' man. He wears this, seersucker blazer that's like cream color, white and cream. It's really nice with like tan lines. It was nice. He's a sharp dude. So while they talking about, like the females he be bagging and so forth, they see this chick, okay? This chick basically swears up and down that she is the Duke of Miami, the female, she is the, she calls herself okay, let me go back. I'm going to go back because I skipped over something very important, okay? So, before we meet Maurice, Shawna takes a break to basically contact a woman named Jill. Not Jill Scott, but a woman named Jill Griffin. Jill Griffin is the woman who actually works at Spotify. She is the content manager at Spotify. So if you want your music plugged in, you gotta go through her to get it to this woman at the top named Crystal, which is her boss. So Shawna's like, Jill, did you basically give my video, my music to Crystal? She was like, I know you read my messages because you got your reader on. Meaning like when you get a message and it pops open, it shows that you read it. So she's basically, kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna get to it kind of thing. So what happens is she receives an upload from Jill. And Jill Griffin basically played her, okay? Jill Griffin claimed that she was interested in Shawna's music because it was different and fresh and it was invigorating and talented. But what Shawna sees is this artist that Jill claimed that she didn't like, named Sunny MF, and she got next, meaning that she's going to be considered the next big thing in hip-hop. And Jill danced to it and everything, and she writes, really, Jill? You said her music was basic. Now you turn in industry too? So what you see throughout the show is the show's backdrop is social media, Instagram. Not really Twitter, not really Facebook, Instagram. Because a lot of these artists make it being seen on Instagram. I want to get that through early. So she's basically like, you know what? I'm done. F this ish. I'm done. I don't really care about this right now. So what happens is we then see her talking to Maurice. And Maurice is a ladies' man. As I said, he had the seersucker blazer on. And he basically is like this kind of like carefree kind of dude. He's about money and punani. That's really what much it. So what happens is they end up seeing the girl who pretty much calls herself the Duke of Miami, the female, the pussy plug, and she's basically, in my opinion, a horrible person. So she scouts women for sex, which is why she hangs out at the Plymouth all day. So women that's passing by, she recruits them to basically sex traffic them in so that they could sleep with high profile men with money. And she gets a cut. So she sees this guy, and one of the guys used to be on Insecure, and she was like, "Oh, y'all was in Ronaldo's booth last night." And they was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I did that. I put that together." And he's like, "Really?" And he was like, Ronaldo was like, "Yeah, I've been knowing him since we was an itty bitty, thing. We used to slap each other across the head and stuff." So come to find out, Shawna been filming this girl to figure out, what's her game, what's her motive. So she sees that Chastity is big on Instagram, and she's always in the strip clubs, procuring women, but she also hooks up with rap artists as well. Not on sex, because she's a lesbian. She's like a stud, but she basically hooks them in with the money, because that's how she gets paid, with hooking them up with the girls, with sex work. So she calls herself a sex work manager. Bitch is a pimp, okay? So she's like, "Oh, you filming me? This bitch is filming me without my permission? Oh, hell no." So that's how we learn about her. And her name is Chastity, and she goes by Chastity Boy. Okay, so now we basically see Shawna planning to go to MIA. To go to NYC. So she's trying to book a trip to MIA, NYC. And a lot of that has to do with her boyfriend attending NYU named Cliff. But while she's about to book this trip, she gets an interrupted FaceTime message from a girl named Mia. Her name is Mia Knight, and that's portrayed by Kamillion, who was an actual rapper and singer and was on Love and Hip Hop Miami. So Kamillion is a makeup artist who's actually headed to the hotel to do makeup for the bride, who basically was filming Shawna just before we get to be introduced to her. The boy was like, "Oh my God, this is the only pussy I'm going to ever have. This is the only penis I'm going to ever have," stuff like that. So she's like, "Listen, I know you didn't expect me to message you, Shawna, but my daughter is with me, and I got a makeup, appointment that I got to complete. I don't have a babysitter, and I want to know, do you still work at the Plymouth?" And Shawna's like, "Yeah, I really don't want to admit that I do, but I still do." So she's like, "Great." She was like, "Listen here. Lamont, which is the baby daddy that you're going to see later on in the episode, he's basically busy doing whatever in the studio. Her mother, Mia's mother, is working at a job. The grandmother is sick, and she don't have nobody else to babysit Melissa, who is 4 going on 14. And you're going to see why I said that." So she's like, "Well, I don't know if there's any available rooms open, because she was like, you could put her in a room if it's available." But then Shawna gives in. So then we get to meet Mia Knight, who goes by the handle Mia, I think it's Mia 360, something like that. I could be wrong, but let me just go back and see about that, because she has 2 handles, by the way. But I probably will. Oh shit! I know I wrote it down. I know I wrote this down. Okay, so she basically goes by Mia. So Mia is kind of ratchet, and Mia basically, the only Mia 305, the only Miami 305, but Mia Miami, she goes by that. And she basically talks some real ratchet stuff, and her daughter acts ratchet, and she blames it on social media, but it's really you, Mia. And what Mia talks about is horrible. Mia talks about, "It's your girl, Mia, and I just want to know, how come men never have any money? My daughter is 4 going on 14, and I seduce and scheme. And I'm not above it." And it's that, the one thing I care about is money. And this man proposed to me, but he was broke. How you going to propose to somebody and you ain't got no money? And then she was like, "Only 2 things men care about is pussy and money. And if you got money, you should be able to get pussy." This is how she talks. So what we learn is that Mia and Shawna have not really been in communication like that, let alone hung out since after high school. So we learned that Shawna basically forgot that Mia is 4 years old. So they haven't really seen each other since since Melissa was first born. So they're talking in the room and so forth. And basically what they learn is that Mia pretty much became a single mother and she's struggling. And they last basically hung out when Karina had an event called the Back That Ass Up Party. And Shawna tells her, I finally learned how to K-Wang. I still am not that good at it, but I'm better at it than before. And so Mia's like, yeah, whatever. So she's basically like telling Melissa, while Melissa is basically glamming up, this 4-year-old knows how to dress her face up very well. She's basically like, oh, what are we, what did I tell you? Don't basically use the phone while you are charging it because it will blow up in my face. Exactly. Air kisses is not. So then Shawna's like, well, Mia, how do I basically look? So she's like, well, you can use a little more blush. This girl is grown, but she's a nice little girl. She's a nice little girl, but she's just very grown. And that's Mia's fault because Mia is a young mother that's focused on getting money, and, kind of getting dick down. And you're going to learn what she's done in the last 4 years since high school later on the episode. So we meet this, we don't really meet her, but we meet this rapper chick named Rain, okay? And Maurice Antoine, who doesn't care about the color of a woman as long as she's attractive, he's a fan of this girl. And Mia, Rain, is disgusting. So basically, she's a rapper who a year ago looked like Kirsten Dunst. Now she's glammed up. She got her booty done. She got her skin done. And she's basically kind of like blackfishing. She looks like a light-skinned black girl, still blonde. But she basically is saying stuff in her songs like, back that ass up, back that ass up. And her producer and co-signer is this guy named Francois Boom. And Francois Boom went to high school with both Shawna and Mia. And pretty much, Shawna's like, you mean to tell me this chick blew up? She's not talking about anything. She's basically, like, her lyrics are degrading, but Maurice is like, this is what the people want. And you got to give them, like, look, you're a real talented artist, but you're not giving the people what they want. So she's just upset. She's done for the day. So then we're introduced to her boyfriend, Cliff, who she's heading to visit in New York. That's why she was booking the flight. So Cliff, his last name is Lewis. He's an NYU law student. It is her boyfriend. He graduated from Morehouse, and he plans to go into the White House. Basically, he plans to be president of the United States. But he also was from the Outback and was raised in Oakland. So what it kind of seems is like he comes from his background where he was probably born in Australia to a parent who played professional basketball, like i.e. Kyrie Irving, who was born in Australia, okay? And he also considers himself a social justice warrior. But there's one problem in their relationship, and that is this girl named Fatima Hassan, who basically wants to be a president of the United States, just like Cliff, and she's the co-chair of the Public Interest Law Student Association and a Black Lives Matter advocate, and she goes to NYU Law. So Shawna thinks that Cliff is cheating on her with Fatima because they're always together and they're studying in the law library all the time. But Cliff is like, no, it's not that. But I do think that Mia has a thing for him. So what happens is Mia is basically like, I'm fucking done with this shit. I'm done. You know, you don't want to basically support super authentic rap. This is what she says while she goes live. Basically, you basically wanted to see like white girls with big booties. You want to see like people not really talking about serious issues. Like, I live this rap shit. And like, I'm announcing my retirement. I'm done. I'm done with it. So while she's done with this, she gets a FaceTime message from Cliff. And Cliff basically talks about, you know, they haven't had sex virtually in a long time. And they haven't seen each other in 4 months because he's in New York and she's in Miami. So she's basically like, listen, I'm tired. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to deal with this. And she's wearing a Wu-Tang t-shirt. And he's like, but you look good. And she was like, no, I don't. He was like, yes, you do. And she was like, stop it. You know you got a thing for Fatima. Now, she's never met Fatima, but she knows her in the virtual world because this is the age that we're in. We're in the virtual setting where everything is like, I don't have to know you in the physical to know you. I can just interact with you or even see you online. Never speak to you, know everything about you. Because your business is out on what? Front Street. So Cliff is like, I'm not dealing with her. And she was like, don't try to play me. Yes, you are. But see, what it is that Shawna has low self-esteem. And she feels like her life hasn't really gone as planned. Because Cliff is in NYU with Fatima, who's a high achiever, because they did something that she didn't. They finished and went to grad school. And you're going to learn why she didn't finish school. Okay? And Shawna chased her dream of being a rapper. Okay? So, what happens is there's this white woman who is a Karen. And basically like, I requested a room early and it's not ready. And I think this is so unacceptable. And I'm going to call corporate. Now, for all my people that worked in customer service, retail, and everything, we know one thing. A request does not mean that it's something that actually happens, okay? You can request anything. But if you haven't paid for it, you can't get upset. She never told Shawna that she paid for it. So what happens is while she's on the phone with corporate complaining, Shawna has her Amex credit card. And she takes photos of the front of the card and the back of the card. And it pops up that the woman is Courtney Allen. She lives in 5150 Upson Drive. 5150 like Crazyville. Because that's the code in Cali. El Paso, Texas. Okay. She might have been descendant of slave owners. 79902. Guess what? Mia ain't the only one that's scamming and scheming. Learn something about her. That's why I say it's a central theme throughout this whole series. So Mia is doing the woman's makeup for the wedding, and she basically tells them, stop, be all bad bitches. And bad bitches need to depend on badder bitches. Realer bitches need to depend on realer bitches, stuff like that. Mia's conversations are very basic and very ratchet. So what happens is Shawna is very much, Shawna, you're going to learn, she don't really have that many friends. But she has 7,573 followers on Instagram and 301 posts. And she basically messaged her and says, Mia, you want to go and invite, you want to hang out for drinks? So Mia ignores it at first because Mia has another side hustle. And what she does is she does sex work. And Mia is a dominatrix. And this is her second Instagram hand page called Ghetto Dominatrix 305. So basically, she does this every Tuesday night while her daughter is sleeping, okay? And she basically wears this domination outfit while she's twerking. So the man basically wants to see her, strip. And she's like, oh no, you got to pay extra for that. So while she's twerking, she's getting tips ranging from $5, $8, $10, $5 again, $6, $5. And the last one is $50. So she's like, thank you for, tipping. I gotta go. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. And Mia looked really nice. But Mia has been hustling on her grind, taking care of her daughter, and that's because her baby father, Lamont Diggs, he don't do shit. Lamont is a baby father who's inept. He only cares about himself. Now, he sees his daughter, but he doesn't take care of his daughter. So what happened is that Mia FaceTimes Lamont and says, I need half of the money for rent and for Melissa. So he's like, well, I'm in the studio right now. I'll have the money by next week. And she's like, dude, the rent is due this Friday. And he's like, listen, I'm trying to work on it, everything. I'm doing, what I got to do and stuff, but I got to be in the studio and stuff. And she's like, listen, I'm working 3 jobs. One is a makeup artist. The second is dominatrix. The third one, I believe, is scamming. But anyway, she's like, he's like, you can cash more honey being lovely. And, she's like, you can cash more honey with love, as opposed to, flies. Fuck the flies. So he was like, well, I'm about to go and focus on my music and stuff. And it's like, dude, you are a father of a 4-year-old daughter. You don't even care about her. You're like a little kid. You're a little kid. You're basically a grown child, Lamont. And so she's like, I don't care. I don't care no more. I'm whatever. So because of her basically dealing with this situation, Mia finally answers Shawna and is like, yeah, we can go get drinks. So they go to this spot called Freehold Miami. And Shawna is like, yeah, we at this party. And Mia's like, what? Okay, whatever. You must not really go out because it ain't nobody here to party. So then they end up going to this place because Shawna is faded. And so Mia's like, I'm going to take, you ain't never been to a strip club. I'm going to take you to a strip club for the first time. And so Shawna's like, I've been to a strip club. I've just never been to the office. So the office is a strip club where Mia used to work at. Okay. So what happens is that they go to the office and, they shaking with the girls and whatnot. And Miami strip clubs are not like strip clubs in New York. There's live nudity. Like the nudity is right there on the main floor. Whereas in New York clubs, for what I've been to, because I've never been to a strip club and I don't want to unless it's male. You gotta go to other places to see the nudity. But there, it's right there. They don't care. And there'll be liquor and all that. So what happens is they basically, they had fun. They faded. She lived it up. Shawna can't twerk for anything. Even though she has more of a body than Mia, she can't twerk for shit. So they in the car and Shawna asks Mia, whatever happened to the boy in Miss Rodriguez's class who was really cute? And she's like, oh, to Sean. Yeah, he basically got jailed for armed robbery and he got 4 kids. And it's like, damn, a cute dude going to jail. That's a waste of, cute and whatever. So what happens is Mia's like, I got a confession. I really didn't want to hang out with you. I wasn't going to even answer your message. And it's because after high school, you paced all the way out and you acted brand new and you thought you was better than me, especially after I had Melissa. So we learned that 4 years ago, they basically graduated from high school. And right after, 5 years ago, because Melissa's 4, she got pregnant. And she's like, I didn't go to college like you did because my family didn't have money. I've been grinding ever since taking care of my daughter all by myself. I've been doing makeup, stripping, and whatnot. And so Shawna confesses and says, I have a confession too. I never got my degree. And Mia's like, what? And she said, I dropped out. So Shawna dropped out because when she was in college, she decided to work with the manipulated producer. And so she dropped out of college. The producer promised that she was going to blow up big and everything, and it never happened. And so Mia was like, I was stripping at the office and I thought I was going to be big too. But I'll tell you one thing, I would have gotten my degree even if I would have had a piece of my degree. And so what we learn about Mia is a determined person. See, Shawna grew up in a bougie home with money, but Mia got the drive. Shawna don't really know how to hustle because she didn't learn and wasn't taught the game. Mia got the game on lock because in order to blow up in hip hop, you gotta have game. You gotta know how to finesse, and Shawna don't. But Mia does, but what's holding her back is Melissa, her 4-year-old daughter. So they get to talking, and Shawna's like, I really thought that I was gonna blow up, but people don't care about my type of rap and my style of music. And Mia's like, you gotta give the people what they want. So they go live, not realizing that they went live, and they was basically, like being all deep and shit. And like Shawna's like, oh no, let's turn this off. But Mia's like, no, let's keep it on. So they start rapping, freestyling to Seduce and Scheme. And Shawna's good. She can do the ratchet. She can do the whole thing. Because remember, she said, I live and breathe this rap shit. And so, remember I told you, Mia wasn't the only one scheming. So is Shawna. And the one thing that cements them from deciding to start a rap group is the song Seduce and Scheme. Because even though Mia didn't go to college, had a baby out of wedlock, basically is a baby mother, was a stripper, but she does sex work still. And you got Shawna that went to college, dropped out, but has a boyfriend who's in NYU law school. They still have the commonality where they seduce and scheme to survive. So what happens is Mia's like, yo, you killed this shit. So what ends up happening is that we find out that Chastity and Mia know each other when Mia was working at the office back in the day. And when Mia introduced Chastity to Shawna, Chastity's like, oh, hell no. You know this bitch? And Shawna's like, yeah, we went to high school together. And she's like, damn. And Mia is like, I'm going to tell you something. I like Mia. Because Mia is open and honest about her hustle. Shawna got this persona like, yeah, I'm a rap artist. I'm a deep thinker and everything. But bitch, you a scammer too. Just like Mia. A scammer is a scammer. You a seducer and a schemer. I would say that more so Mia is a seducer because she does sex work. But I would say Shawna is more the schemer. Because to survive, she doing schemes on the job. Mia's not scheming on the job. Mia do her makeup, go. She do her sex work and go. And that's the beauty, I would say, of this episode. I thought the writing was very good. Because the one thing I would say is that just because a person seems to be one thing and says one thing and presents herself as such, like Shawna, yes, she had it. She basically was doing like positive rap music. But the real reason why it didn't kick off is because you really wasn't that girl to begin with. You really are ratchet. You that ratchet chick. You just know how to hide the ratchetness because you grew up in a bougie home. But you a schemer because you took that lady's information, Courtney Allen, and you took that card. You didn't have to do that. And you took that shit, sent it through Instagram because you're scheming through Instagram, which is a FCC, you violating FCC laws, you dummy. And you got a law student boyfriend, and you don't have to do this. Like Cliff even said, you don't have to wallow in misery. You could basically do something with your life and still do this. But you basically got caught up. You let somebody lie to you thinking you was going to blow up. And now you put yourself in a position to scheme because that's all you have. And really in the rap world, what Issa Rae is conveying to the audience, which is us, is that the hip hop world, in order to make it, you got to be a seducer and a schemer. You got a seducer, and you got to scheme. Look at that white girl, Rain. Rain, she ain't got that butt. She ain't got them hips. She ain't got them lips. She ain't got none of that. Okay? When she looked like Kirsten Dunst, nobody was paying attention to her. But when she got all that fake stuff, she seduced all those black men. And look where she's at. And you got Francois, who basically is a black man pimping her out and getting all of y'all, seducing the guys to basically, listen to her music, and the girls to try to look like her. And the scheme is pretty much the fraudulent nature of all this behind it, because they don't even live those lives. Look at how he was blowing. This dude, Francois Boom, set hundreds of dollar bills, well, not hundreds of dollar bills, but like hundreds on fire. And was like, yo, because when we got money like this, you can afford to basically set hundreds on fire. Went to school with them. And you know that money is fake. You know that's fake money. Because who the hell is going to set hundreds on fire? It's a scheme. This rap shit is fraudulent. The people ain't really talented. A lot of times they not writing their music. And a lot of times the people don't look like that. They broke. The music is fake. The image is fake. The bills are fake. It's all about seducing and scheming. And Mia and Shawna know how to do it both, which is why they going to get together and do that rap group. And we going to see them this season try to make it big. And Mia is staying true to herself, while Shawna is compromising her integrity. But I say this is how Shawna really is. And Cliff ain't going to like it. And I think that this is going to make him go with Fatima. And they going to get with Francois, who's basically going to put them in some nonsense. And Chastity Boy, the stud pimp, is going to get them in a whole lot of ish. And I'm here for it. And with that being said, thank you for listening to my review on the first episode of Rap Shit. Okay? HBO's new series produced by Issa Rae. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel, where you will receive notifications on future uploads, on lives, commentaries, reviews, and also hit the like button and comment and share. And I'll be back later on today. Take care. Enjoy the weather. Have a great day. And before I go, I want to say, I know this episode was like 34 minutes. I know it's going to be a 39-minute blog review. Show review. But this is how I do my reviews. I give a breakdown. I don't give an opinion on stuff until the end. This is something I always wanted to do. I'm not going to make this channel a review channel completely, but I'm going to do more reviews as well as lives, as opposed to just upload commentary. I'll still do it, but not as much. But hopefully you basically enjoy the reviews. I've done a couple of other shows, more on reality TV, and also P-Valley. I got those reviews coming up later on today. Thank you for supporting me, and have a wonderful day.